When Prada fever took over the fashion world, no one expected her name to rise above the runway. Why is Kim Hye-yoon suddenly the face everyone's talking about, and what does Byun Woo-seok have to do with it? A coincidence, or something much more calculated behind those flashing cameras? Join Red Carpet Revealed as we dive into the dazzling chaos, the whispers, and the truth behind this unexpected spotlight. The first flash hit her before she stepped out of the car. A split second later, a dozen more followed, turning the black asphalt of Cheongdam into a storm of white light. The Prada Seoul Reimagined Gala was already the talk of the fashion world, but that night, one name would eclipse the brand itself. Hye-yoon, actress, rising icon, and until recently, one of the quietest figures in South Korea's entertainment scene, was about to walk into the kind of chaos that can only be created by beauty, mystery, and perfect timing. She wasn't the headliner on the guest list. Prada's global ambassador was expected to be the focus, a veteran supermodel, an international influencer, one or two idol stars. But as the doors opened, and Hye-yoon emerged in a black satin mini dress that balanced sophistication with something disarmingly fragile, every lens locked on her. For a brief, electric moment, no one spoke. Then, as if cued by instinct, the photographers began shouting her name. The air filled with the sound of camera shutters, frantic, overlapping, hungry. Kim Hye-yoon. Over here. One more look. She smiled. A simple, elegant smile, not posed, forced, and the crowd erupted. It wasn't just about the dress. It never is. It was the presence. Something about her that night didn't feel rehearsed. And that, in the world of luxury, was the most dangerous kind of perfection. Inside, the energy of the event pulsed like a living thing. The chandelier lights bounced off mirrored walls, champagne flutes clinked over the soundtrack of murmured gossip. Celebrities moved like constellations across the room, carefully spaced, always aware of their own shine. But all paths, somehow, led toward her. Reporters whispered to one another, why her? Kim Hye-yoon had always been the anti-spectacle, the girl who showed up quietly, left without scandal, and spoke with humility that bordered on anonymity. She was known for her roles, not her red carpets. And yet, Prada had chosen her to close the show. When she reached the central display, a massive prism of glass surrounded by an infinity of lights, the entire hall went silent again. The brand's creative director smiled knowingly from the corner. He had seen this before, not often, but enough to recognize when a face had crossed from fame into phenomenon. By midnight, the images were already online. Kim Hye-yoon Prada trended globally within 30 minutes. Prada fever followed right behind it. One fan wrote, she looks like she walked out of a painting, but she's breathing. Another, this is what elegance without ego looks like. But amid the compliments, photo began to stand out, not because of her, but because of the figure walking a few steps behind. Full silhouette, sharp suit, head turned just enough to reveal the unmistakable jawline of Byun Woo-seok. The internet froze for exactly 2 minutes before exploding. Wait, was that Byun Woo-seok? Why are they leaving together? Prada couple? Are they collaborating or something else? The questions spread faster than the answers could. Within hours, someone had zoomed in on the reflection of a glass panel, confirming, or at least convincing millions, that it was indeed him. By morning, Prada couple had its own hashtag. Official story from both agencies was identical and antiseptic. They attended the event separately. There is no connection between them. But it didn't matter. The public had already written a better story. Behind the scenes, stylists, PR managers, and brand directors were both thrilled and terrified. Prada's Korea office had seen many viral moments. None like this, one that combined fashion's allure with the electricity of a rumored romance. A marketing strategist from Seoul's fashion district put it bluntly. You can't buy chemistry like that. Not even Prada can. But was it planned? Or a perfect accident? No one could answer. Hye-yoon, meanwhile, stayed silent. When journalists approached her the next day, smiled politely, thanked them for their support, and said, it was an honor to attend, nothing more. No denials. No clarifications. Silence did more damage, or perhaps more magic, than any press release could have. Her image transformed overnight. From sweet actress to enigmatic muse. Every photo of her from the event began to be analyzed like a clue. Look at her eyes, Was she nervous? It's someone off camera, is that him? Notice how Byun Woo-seok left exactly 1 minute later. The internet became a detective novel written by millions of hands. Days later, at a small coffee shop in Apgujeong, a reporter overheard two stylists whispering. Prada didn't stop the rumors. Of course not. They started it. It was an outrageous suggestion, but it spread quickly. People began to speculate that Prada had orchestrated the moment, using Byun Woo-seok's sudden appearance as a spark to ignite global attention. It wouldn't be the first time. Luxury brands often pair unexpected personalities, knowing that public fascination sells better than any advertisement. But this case felt different. Because the looks exchanged that night, brief, fleeting, real, didn't seem like choreography. A week later, fashion journalist Lee So-hyun wrote an article titled When Rumor Becomes Couture. It described how luxury labels have shifted from controlling stories to letting chaos do the marketing for them. She wrote, "In the age of social media, unpredictability is authenticity. What we call scandal is often just storytelling with better lighting." Kim Hye-yoon's face graced the cover of 3 magazines that month. Prada's sales spiked in Korea by 27%. And Byun Woo-seok's fan base doubled overnight, with half of them now following Kim Hye-yoon's accounts too. Coincidence? Or choreography? Behind closed doors, a different kind of tension brewed. According to one assistant from the event, who spoke anonymously, Hye-yoon and Byun Woo-seok had indeed exchanged words backstage, brief, quiet, and off camera. He had approached her after she nearly tripped on the marble floor, steadying her arm with a quick reflex. "Careful," he said softly. She laughed, slightly embarrassed. "Guess Prada floors don't like heels." They both smiled. Then the camera flashes found them again. And the moment was gone. That simple interaction would become the foundation for thousands of fan theories, edits, and proof videos. The line between reality and imagination blurred. What no one knew was how differently the two stars handled it. Byun Woo-seok retreated. He canceled interviews, postponed a variety show appearance, and told his staff, "Let it cool down." Kim Hye-yoon, however, leaned in, quietly, strategically. Didn't deny, didn't post, didn't feed the fire. She simply kept existing, beautifully, gracefully, and that was enough to keep the fever burning. Soon, even the global press caught on. Vogue Hong Kong published a piece titled The Mystery of Kim Hye-yoon, How Prada Found Its Perfect Muse. They described her as a paradox, soft yet commanding, modern yet nostalgic. Every photo of her was accompanied by one word, timeless. When asked about the rumors during a brief airport interview, she paused, then smiled faintly. "Rumors are just proof that people are watching." That single sentence would trend for 2 days straight. As the frenzy built, insiders began leaking hints that the connection between Kim Hye-yoon and Byun Woo-seok wasn't romantic, but professional. Whispers of a secret project, perhaps a campaign, maybe a short film, began circulating. A creative director hinted in an interview, "Sometimes, the best collaborations are born from coincidence." Still, neither side confirmed anything. That silence, the elegant, maddening silence, became the signature of the story. By the end of the month, Prada fever had grown beyond two celebrities. It became a cultural moment, about image, perception, and the strange intimacy between brands and their muses. You couldn't walk through Seoul without seeing her face in a store window, or his name in a headline. And yet, despite all the noise, they were both invisible, disappearing into airports, moving between shoots. Seen together again. Or so everyone thought. Late one evening, at the edge of Gangnam, a single fan video surfaced, grainy, dimly lit, almost abstract. It showed two figures in a quiet alley, stepping into a black car. The woman wore a Prada coat. Man, a familiar height, a familiar walk, turned briefly toward the camera. Clip ended before his face was clear. But that was enough. The next morning, every outlet had the same headline. The Prada connection, caught again. Woo-seok's agency denied it within hours, calling it fabricated. Kim Hye-yoon's team remained silent. Prada? They posted a single image on their official Instagram, a close-up of the new Luna bag, bathed in shadow. Captioned only with, "Things are meant to stay mysterious." That post went viral instantly. Thousands flooded the comments, hinting, "This is genius marketing. Prada, we see what you're doing." But beneath the noise, a few noticed something others missed. In the reflection of the bag's metallic clasp, two blurred silhouettes, one male, one female. Coincidence? Or confession? Speculation reached its peak. Red carpet revealed received an anonymous message from someone claiming to have worked on the Prada Soul campaign. It contained a single line. What you saw that night wasn't an accident. It was art in real time. Attached was a photo. A behind-the-scenes shot, Kim Hye-yoon and Byun Woo-seok standing side by side. Not smiling, just looking. Calm and unflinching. His, steady and unreadable. Between them, a single mirror. Reflecting both perfectly. The photo was too perfect to be a coincidence. Two stars standing between reflection and reality. Framed by light that felt intentional. Hours of the leak. Fashion forums lit up with speculation. Was this a stolen backstage shot? Or something deliberately left behind, like a breadcrumb in Prada's labyrinth of luxury? No one answered. 3 days later, an announcement landed quietly in inboxes of global press outlets. Prada presents Duality, a short film starring Kim Hye-yoon. No mention of Byun Woo-seok. Trailer. No teaser. Just a black and white poster of Hye-yoon. Her face half in shadow, half illuminated. Her eyes unreadable. Tagline read, "Every reflection tells a different truth." The release was scheduled for midnight, Milan time. Prada's marketing team refused interviews. Actors' agencies denied involvement. The mystery only deepened. When the film finally dropped, it was 6 minutes long, silent, surreal, hypnotic. It opened with Kim Hye-yoon walking through a mirrored corridor. The reflections multiplied endlessly, distorting her image. Then, a voice whispered off-screen. Deep and familiar, "Which one is really you?" The camera turned. Byun Woo-seok appeared, dressed in the same black suit from the gala night. Standing on the opposite side of the glass. He moved when she moved. Stopped when she stopped, two figures dancing without touching. No dialogue followed. Only the sound of footsteps and the echo of her breath. At the end, she raised her hand to the mirror. Heard her gesture. Their fingers met through the glass, then the screen cut to black. A final line appeared. Connections exist beyond sight. The internet imploded. It wasn't just a film. It was confirmation, a story told through art. Blending rumor and reality until neither could be separated. Fashion critics hailed it as Prada's most daring campaign yet, an exploration of intimacy, image, and illusion. Called it the most romantic thing Prada has ever done. The industry called it genius. Because in 6 minutes, Prada had transformed gossip into gold. Yet behind the glamour, the story wasn't as seamless as it looked. Multiple insiders later revealed that Duality had been filmed before the Prada Gala. The entire unexpected sighting of Hye-yoon and Woo-seok had been part of a long game, a carefully designed strategy that blurred the line between real and performed affection. But something unexpected happened. The chemistry between them wasn't written in the script. During shooting, the director reportedly cut several takes because of how real the tension looked. Woo-seok's hand lingered longer than planned. Hye-yoon's eyes didn't match the storyboard. They were too soft, too human. Even the editor admitted later. Stopped calling it acting around day 3. When Duality went viral, journalists demanded answers. Prada stayed silent. Kim Hye-yoon disappeared from social media for 2 weeks. Then, one morning, she reappeared, with a single post. A photo of her standing in front of the mirror, holding the new Prada bag. The caption read, "I'm fine where I am." The comment section exploded. Some saw it as confidence. Others, confession. Byun Woo-seok, on the other hand, spotted arriving in Milan shortly after. Rumors claimed he was filming another campaign. But sources hinted at something more personal. He was seen entering Prada's headquarters late at night. A week later, during the Vogue Italia interview, creative director finally broke his silence. The beauty of Kim Hye-yoon and Byun Woo-seok is not that they are together or apart, it's that they both understand performance as truth. The interviewer asked, "Was it all planned?" The director smiled. "Planned, yes. Rolled? Never." As Duality climbed to 50 million views, he began dissecting every frame. One sequence, in particular, sparked a new theory. At minute 3:17, the camera zoomed in on Hye-yoon's reflection. For a fraction of a second, a second face appeared behind her, one that didn't match Woo-seok's. Was it another actor? A visual metaphor? Or something shot long after? No one could tell. Prada never explained. That silence, again, became the brand's most powerful language. Weeks later, the two were scheduled to appear at the Busan International Film Festival. It would be their first public appearance since Duality. Night of the event. The carpet shimmered with flashlights. Byun Woo-seok arrived first, calm, polite, immaculate. Minutes later, Kim Hye-yoon followed. Her gown a cascade of ivory silk. Her step slow and deliberate. Every photographer screamed the same question. Are you two really together? Neither answered. But when they met at the entrance, something small happened, so small that only the cameras caught it. She looked up. He looked down. Her hands brushed. Not a handshake. Not a pose. Contact, brief. Unplanned, magnetic. And in that moment, the noise around them faded. By dawn, headlines read. They didn't speak. They didn't need to. Prada's perfect pair strikes again. New wave of fan edits flooded social media, pairing clips of Duality with slow piano music. Even those who mocked the fake marketing romance admitted that something in their eyes didn't look fabricated. One commentator wrote, "If this is acting, it's the kind that leaves a scar." An unexpected twist. Prada released an unseen epilogue a month later, a 90-second short titled Reflection No. 7. The film showed only Kim Hye-yoon walking alone through a dim room lined with mirrors. Her reflection multiplied until hundreds of her faces surrounded her. Then, one by one, each reflection vanished, except one. She turned to face it. Woo-seok's voice echoed faintly, "You don't need the mirror anymore." The screen faded to black. And magazines declared it the end of an era. But those who had followed the story knew better. Because the moment the film ended, his official account posted one last line. Endings are just another design. It's past. Hye-yoon focused on her new drama, Woo-seok on his upcoming film. They never addressed the rumors again. Every interview, every awards show, every photo shoot seemed haunted by the same question whispered between lines. Was any of it real? In one rare interview, asked about Duality, Hye-yoon smiled and said, "Sometimes, art borrows from life. Sometimes, life borrows back." Was the closest she ever came to answering. Industry insiders later revealed that Duality had won multiple international advertising awards, not just for a fashion, but for narrative innovation. Blurred boundaries between cinema, commerce, and confession. Prada, meanwhile, achieved record engagement without ever confirming or denying a single rumor. Byun Woo-seok became known as the Silent Gentleman, a brand ambassador who let presence speak louder than words. Kim Hye-yoon, now hailed as the face of the moment, was invited to front campaigns from Milan to Paris. And together, though never officially linked, came a myth whispered across fashion capitals, the kind of story every brand dreams of but can never replicate. But beyond the lights and applause, the story had a quiet aftermath. Late one evening, after filming Wrapped in Italy, Yoon sat by her hotel window overlooking the city. The skyline shimmered with reflections on glass. Phone buzzed. A message. "Woo-seok, we made something beautiful, didn't we?" Hye-yoon, "Yes. Even if no one knows what was real." There was a pause. Then another message. "Seok, maybe that's what makes it ours." That conversation was never confirmed, but sources close to the production swore it happened. And maybe that's how all legends begin, with fragments of truth, polished until they shine. A year later, Prada released a coffee table book titled The Faces Behind Duality. The final page showed two hands reaching toward each other across a mirror, one adorned with a black ring, one bare. Beneath it, a single line read, "Every masterpiece begins as a rumor." At the next year's Seoul Fashion Gala, Kim Hye-yoon sat in the front row as cameras rolled. A reporter leaned over and asked, "Do you ever miss the madness of Prada fever?" She smiled faintly. "It was never madness," she said. "It was magic. And sometimes, magic doesn't need to happen twice." Later that night, as the lights dimmed and the runway glowed, a new model stepped out wearing Prada's latest collection. The background music began to play, soft, haunting. It was the same melody from Duality. In the crowd, Hye-yoon looked up. Across the room, Byun Woo-seok met her eyes. Spoke. Neither smiled. But the cameras caught it anyway. The world began to whisper again. To the dreamers who live between reality and reflection, thank you. To every artist who turns rumor into art. Every reader who looks beyond the glare of fame to find the truth hidden beneath. This story exists because of you. Gratitude to those who believe silence can be more powerful than words. It's more defiant than noise. And to all who walk the fine line between illusion and authenticity, may you always find your own light, even under the brightest flash.